And you see that with the speakers that we have this afternoon, every speaker leaves us with a call for action. We are going to end this session with a lot of homework to do in the next few months. And it leads me to the third speaker that we have, this speaker, as a hobby, Matt, likes to reverse engineering everything that he finds. And that was a concern to think about the potential invitation to invite to my home after he shared with me that this is what he is doing at home for fun. And it's my pleasure and honor to invite Matt Swann, the Chief Security Architect for OneDrive and SharePoint in Microsoft. Please. Thank you.
Audio? No, there we go. Thank you. My role at Microsoft is to defend hundreds of thousands of servers in the Microsoft 365 cloud. Now, the scale presents incredible challenges for me and for my engineering organization. But this is a mission that I cannot fail at because I've promised to my customers that this is the most secure cloud for their data, whether they are an organization of 3 people or 300,000, whether their IT security budget is 0 or in the millions of dollars. And so when I come up against these scale challenges, when I see that my traditional IT security techniques no longer apply when I have 300 or 400,000 machines under my care, I know what to do. I'm an engineer, so I build tools. And each time I do this, it kind of follows the same pattern. I do a red team engagement, or I read threat intelligence, and I realize there's a gap in my ability to detect or to respond. So my engineers and I work together. We build tooling that fills that gap. We roll that tooling out to our engineers. We document when and how to use it. We make sure that it works in each of our environments. Next, we learn how our engineers are using it, and we realize that in many cases, we can run this tooling automatically. So we automate the tool. And then what do we do next? We build pyramid diagrams, and we go to security conferences, and we talk about how great our tools are, right? But here's the thing. I like to think of incident response like a basketball game, okay? I know that at some point in the future, I'm going to need to play this game against the most talented basketball players in the world, okay? Amazing offensive specialists. And so each time that I build a new tool, I'm getting better basketball shoes. I'm getting a grippier basketball. I'm making sure that the lighting is just right, that the floor is perfectly polished, that the rims and the backboard are exactly perpendicular. But if that's all that I focus on, I'm missing something incredibly important. Can anyone tell me what's missing in this picture? The players, the humans. Why do we focus on tools and neglect the humans? The humans in our incident response system are uniquely capable of strategy, of creativity, of innovation. They're the ones that can tell the difference between a run-of-the-mill malware intrusion and something that looks different. They're the ones that can say, my standard operating procedures are no longer appropriate for this situation because of the risk to the business. They're the ones that can synthesize new capabilities when they discover that their tools are not sufficient for the adversary that they're facing. And let's face it, our adversaries are human. They're going to bring all of their creativity, all of their strategy and drive to bear against my environment. So if I'm going to succeed at this, my approach to innovation has to take advantage of, has to incorporate all of the human factors that can help or harm my responders. So here's one way to think about the difference between a focus on tech and a focus on humans in this innovation loop. If I'm focused on tech, I'm going to want to hire humans that operate the tools and the technology. rather than thinking about my tools as something that augments the capabilities of the people in the loop. When I look at my tools, I'm going to be tempted to measure its coverage against my adversary's tools, techniques, and practices, rather than looking at the outcomes of these engagements to see whether my humans are successful or not. When I have gaps, I might combine tools together, stitch them together, make a patchwork quilt to cover all of the tools and techniques that I need, rather than looking at my humans and seeing, do I need to unify these experiences so that my humans experience less friction and can achieve their outcomes more quickly? With tools, I want to reduce defects, but with humans, I care about the decisions they make. Rather than documenting my tools, I want to train my humans, give them exercise so that they can follow their instincts and their training in the heat of battle. And rather than hiring expert humans who know how to use tools, I want to hire humans who are creative, who are hungry, who will drive with that sense of accountability to win any engagement they find themselves in. So at Microsoft, I found 6 practices that I employ to make sure that my incident responders are up to the challenge. Well, the first thing we need to do, if we're going to have a great set of incident responders, we need to hire great humans. So at Microsoft, of course, we're going to hire excellent software engineers, right? We are software engineers bringing our software engineering capabilities and practices to bear against this problem. But equally important to my engineering competencies are 3 other characteristics. I want my new hires to be humble, hungry, and people smart. And these are 3 things that I borrowed from Patrick Lencioni's book, The Ideal Team Player. And what a difference this makes. When I have people who want to work together on a team for a common good, for a good outcome for our customers, that team becomes more than the sum of its parts. Now next, I'm hiring generalist security engineers or software engineers, so I need to immerse them and teach them information security. I do that first by sending them to security conferences so that they can interface and hear from experts. Next, at Microsoft, we have the luxury of bringing those experts to us through conferences like Blue Hat. But third, the lowest cost, easiest way, and in my opinion, most effective way to do this, me and my team, we sit together in a conference room every Friday. We bring our lunches, we turn the lights down, we watch a security talk. We talk about what it means to us, what tools or techniques we might need to build, what change of mindset it might mean. And then we go do our sprint retrospective and we plan for the following week in light of what we just learned. But a security context is not enough. I then embed these engineers in the product group. Okay, so we report to the director of engineering for SharePoint Online and for OneDrive. We don't sit in a security operations center somewhere devoid or divorced of product context. We do security reviews for the entire organization so that we know how the product works, we know what risks we're trying to mitigate, or we know what risks in the design we've taken on and need to be aware of as we do incident response. Likewise, we understand our customers, who they are, what verticals they're in, and with threat intelligence, who is seeking to attack those customers. Because every time I bring on board a new customer, that customer's enemies become my enemies. So I need to be watching out for them in my infrastructure. Now, I have engineers who have all the context they need. I want to know whether they're successful at that basketball game, at that next incident response engagement. So I'm going to practice their capabilities weekly with attack simulation. I want every on-call engineer to get a breach every time they're in that hot seat so that they can see what it looks like and whether they can use the tools, techniques, anything that's available to them to detect and remediate that attack before it reaches our simulated customer data. We also have the opportunity to do this across Microsoft with an exercise called One Hunt. Because let's face it, in the heat of battle, I might need to call on others outside of my organization. I might need to find great forensics experts, people who can help me with reverse engineering. I need to call the network operations center and have them help me out. It's exercises like One Hunt that build that social fabric within the organization so that we can rely and capitalize on that when I need a favor. Now, having invested all of that in humans, now I can think about augmenting their capabilities with tools. Not just any tools. These tools need to meet a certain set of criteria. First, they need to be everywhere my humans are. If it's Saturday and I'm shopping with my kids, if it's Tuesday night, I'm on the subway, I'm on the way home, and I get an alert, and that alert looks like a true positive. I need to be able to start my investigation using all the tools I have with me, and I guarantee that's not going to be a Windows PC. That tool needs to work the way that I work. If I have to adapt my thinking into a different model to fit it into the tool, well, I'm going to be hampered. I'm not going to make as much progress as I could. That tool needs to give me context. It needs to give me situational awareness so that I make the right decisions about the data that I have at hand. This tool needs to be forgiving, right? If I'm an engineer and I'm doing triage, and I'm pretty sure this is benign, but I'm not 100% sure, I need a way to tell the system to keep bringing this activity back in front of me if new activity pops up so that I can revisit my decision. Finally, this team needs to incorporate diversity, needs to be inclusive, because at the end of the day, incident response is about a set of humans working together in incredibly difficult, high-pressure situations to save the lifeblood of the business and the data of my customers. And at Microsoft, we believe that a diverse, inclusive team that incorporates many different perspectives, many worldviews, many experiences, many life stages, many capabilities and characteristics is going to have better outcomes in the heat of that battle. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt, for your talk. And I could really feel like being part of your team by these pictures and the explanation of how it works to be part of this challenge. So with that, we conclude our session. I hope that you add some more ideas, thoughts, and new concepts to our belief about cyber innovation. I think that the three perspectives brought really three leading managers and experts to the stage, but also three perspectives of three companies that takes their interpretation of the cyber threats and drive them as part of their strategy and their capabilities. So with that, I would like to thank you very much and to wish you to enjoy the conference and the stay in Israel. Thank you very much.